Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has announced 9 new measures to pressure Israel over the Gaza conflict, including a legal arms embargo, banning Israel-bound ships carrying weapons from Spanish ports and denying airspace access to military flights. Spain will also prohibit entry to anyone involved in alleged genocides or war crimes in Gaza. Additionally, Spain plans to increase humanitarian aid to the Palestinians, boosting support to UNRWA by €10 million and raising overall aid to €150 million in 2026. An embargo on products from Israeli settlements in the occupied territories will be also enforced. Sanchez acknowledged the measures alone won't end the conflict, but aims to increase pressure on Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and show solidarity with the Palestinian people. Chaos erupted at Ramot Junction on the outskirts of Jerusalem as crowds fled the scene of a deadly shooting at a bus stop that left at least 7 people dead and numerous injured. According to police, 2 attackers drove to the junction and opened fire before being shot dead by a civilian and a security officer. Weapons, ammunition, and a knife were recovered at the scene. The victims included a man and woman in their 50s and 3 men in their 30s. 6 of the wounded remain in serious conditions with gunshot injuries. The attack occurred in an area of East Jerusalem annexed by Israel after the 1967 war, a move not recognized by the United Nations or most of the international community. The European Union has condemned a deadly shooting by suspected Palestinian gunmen at a bus stop in occupied East Jerusalem, emphasizing the urgent need for a ceasefire amid the ongoing conflict in Gaza. Spokesperson Anwar El-Anouni has stressed that all loss of life is unacceptable and called for immediate de-escalation. He highlighted that civilians on both sides, Palestinians and Israelis, have endured prolonged suffering, urging an end to the cycle of violence. Israel's far-right National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir has urged citizens to arm themselves following a deadly shooting in Jerusalem that left at least 7 people dead. Speaking alongside Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu near the scene, Ben-Gvir praised the action of a soldier and 2 armed civilians who intervened, calling it an act of heroism. He linked the incident to his controversial gun reform policy, which he accelerated firearm permits for civilians. I said that weapons save lives, Ben-Gvir posted on X, calling on Israelis to go and arm themselves. United Nations Human Rights Chief Volker Turk warned that human rights worldwide are under threat from escalating violence, shrinking multilateral cooperation, and widespread disregard for international law. Addressing the opening of the 60th session of the UN Human Rights Council, Turk said disturbing trends, including pro-war propaganda and the glorification of violence, are gaining ground. Turk delivered a sharp rebuke of Israel, accusing it of mass killing of Palestinian civilians, obstructing aid, and committing repeated war crimes. He stopped short of calling the war a genocide, but said Israel had a case to answer before the International Court of Justice and warned that evidence continues to mount.
Human rights provide a compass to steer us through challenges of our time, from the climate crisis to technological developments. And yet,
moving on to Lebanon, where the Israeli army launched airstrikes on areas in eastern Lebanon. The Israeli military stated that the Air Force targeted Hezbollah sites in Lebanon's Beqa region, including camps belonging to Radwan Force, where Hezbollah operatives were observed and which were used to store weapons. The head of the International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA, Rafael Grossi, voiced cautious optimism about progress in talks with Iran aimed at restoring full cooperation under the country's nuclear safeguards agreement. Speaking during a meeting in Vienna, Grossi stressed that full implementation of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty safeguards is critical for any meaningful progress. Grossi reported that progress had been achieved in the discussions and expressed hope that a successful conclusion could be reached within the next few days, allowing for the full resumption of the IAEA's essential work with Iran.
The full resumption of our indispensable work with Iran.
Iran has said talks with the International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA, remain ongoing but positive following the latest round held over the weekend. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ismail Baghai confirmed Iranian negotiations raised key issues such as the safety of nuclear sites, national laws and Security Council considerations, with no final deal has been reached. Discussions are expected to continue. I stressed that Iran will not negotiate over its defense capabilities, calling them vital to the country's security and sovereignty. He also announced Iran's plan to propose a resolution at this month's IAEA General Conference in Vienna, calling for a global ban on attacks or threats against peaceful nuclear facilities.